Hi everyone, Kim here for Treasure Lee Kit Club and Chipboard. What I've got for you today is our mixed media kit, and I'm going to go over the ice resin and how to use that to make your molds. This is going to be part one of a two-part tutorial using our mixed media kit. And if you didn't know, Treasure Lee Kits and Chipboard sells 3 different monthly kits as well as our own laser cut chipboard. And our mixed media kit is a standalone kit, which means you can get this kit by itself, and as soon as you open it up, it's ready to work because we include a project with our mediums. But it's to try and help you build your mediums or to try new mediums that you may have never tried before, that you may have been interested in. And so for this month, if you haven't seen the full reveal of our mixed media kit, I will link all 3 of our kit reveals in the cards above, and you can click on that and go back and check out all of our kits. But this kit sells for $42, and that does include, I'm sorry, $47, and that does include shipping, and that's US shipping only. And it can be found on our website at www.treasureleekits.com. So this is the kit spread out, and let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. Be right back. Okay, like I said, we're going to be working with the ice resin from this kit, and this is kind of like a sample size. If you get the regular size, it normally comes in bottles, and it comes in 2 parts, an A part and a B part, and this needs to be mixed together in equal parts to create the resin to create your mold. And I'm going to create this top mold here. No, maybe I'm going to do this mold here and maybe this mold here. I'm going to try and do these 2 molds here. And what you're also going to need is a little cup. I've also found some little red cups at the dollar store. You're going to need a stirrer or whatever. And whenever I'm working with mixed media, I always keep some baby wipes handy. So this is what we're going to be doing for today. Now, to work with the ice resin, like I said, it comes in 2 parts if you've never used it before. Fortunately, these are pre-set up for us, and it's a little plunger, and once you plunge these equally, you'll get the right mixture. It's got a little tip on here that you pull off because you don't have to use all of this at once. You can use half of it, however much you think you're going to need, and it's going to go into your little mixing cup. And you're going to mix it, and then you're going to pour it into your mold. Now this takes a few hours, actually about 8 hours to set up. So like I said, I'm going to go through how to use this. We're going to pour it into the mold, and then I'm going to come back later after mine has set up, and we're going to go ahead and create a project. That's going to be part 2 of this, creating the project, after we've done our molds, and I show you how to release it. Now for some molds, to get things to release, you may want to brush them with a little baby powder, a little cornstarch, a little something like that to help your molds release. I've got this thing that's full of baby powder that I've had for like years, and beforehand I'm just going to give this a little brush. And I just want to make sure I get the sides. Oh no, I said I was going to do the round one. And again, this is just to help your mediums release, whether you're using ice resin, whether you're using clay, whether you're using hot glue. It just kind of helps your molds release. So now our mold is prepped, and I'm going to set that aside. Now I'm going to take the ice resin, and I'm going to take my cup, and again, like I said, this is 1-piece plunger, so you should get an even amount once you push these into your cup. I'm going to snap off. There we go. Okay, so I've snapped that off, and now I'm going to turn this down, and I'm just going to give, let's see, that's the best way to do it, like that. And I'm just going to give a push. I forgot to snap the piece out of the middle. Make sure you snap the piece out of the middle or your plungers won't go anywhere. That's going to be your cover. Don't throw that black piece away. There we go. Alright, actually I used my whole plunger full. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to stir these for about 2 minutes so that you get an equal mix. And you don't have to worry about this setting up right away. There are some that you can use, like another brand that sets up right away. And you can tell because it starts to get warm. What's going to happen is you're mixing these two and it's going to start to get clear. You may get some air bubbles, but that's fine. You can let it sit and rest. But as I'm stirring this, I'm not sure if you can see, it's starting to get clear. That means I've got an equal mix, but you want to go ahead and make sure that you get a good mix on this. Because if you don't get a good mix, what will happen is once your resin starts to set up, you'll have areas that feel kind of tacky. It won't harden. So again, make sure you get a really good mix on this. Now I'm just going to let it sit for a minute. And it looks like I may have room to do more than just the 2 that I said. So I'm going to go back in and prep another little smaller frame. So I'll have 3 frames prepped just in case. I'm going to start with the 2 that I said I wanted. And then I'm going to go from there. And I'm just letting that sit for a minute to let those air bubbles rise and dissipate. And so if you don't use all your resin, this little black piece that you snapped from in between, that's going to be your stopper. And you just go ahead and slide it on or press it on like that. And you can still use the rest of your resin. This is ready to toss, so. I've still got some air bubbles. You can let this sit for up to 5 minutes and let those air bubbles rise, and it still won't set. But in the meantime, like I said, I'm going to be using these frames, and then I'm going to take those out. This resin can take any type of medium that you want to put on it. I like to pre-treat anything that with clear gesso first, just to help the other mediums stick. And if you're impatient like I am, you can go ahead and use your stick and start to pour your medium. And you want to try and get an even pour. And you don't have to fill it up completely. I'm probably going to go about halfway on these. I just want to make sure that it's even all the way around and I get the detail of everything. And then I'm going to go on to my next one. And as this sits and sets, you'll see that those air bubbles will rise to the top as well. And you can make it, like I said, you can make these as deep or as shallow as you want. Mine are about half full just so I can do all 3. And if you're starting to feel like you're getting low on your resin, just use your scraper to get it all out, because we don't want to waste anything. And if you find that you've got big air bubbles in there, you can go ahead and use a straight pin or a safety pin or something to push out those big air bubbles if you don't see them filling out on their own. Okay, so now I'm going to set that aside and make sure that this is all even the way that I want it. And then I'm going to set that aside. So you've got those 3. I've got them about half full. So they're not going to be really, really thick. And I did that just so I could make more than one. But I'm going to set this aside now. And I'm going to let this dry. And then we'll be back after they're dry. And I'll release them and I'll show you the final product. And then for part 2 of our video, I will be back and we're going to create our canvas using the 3 frames and the rest of the mediums from the kit. So, be right back. Okay guys, so now we're back. Our molds have hardened, our resin has hardened and set up in our molds. I don't know if you can see that, but our air bubbles have cleared out nicely too, so we have no air bubbles in our frames. So now it's time to release them. And the one good thing about this frame, this mold, is it's really flexible, so you don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to start with the bottom one. And I'm just going to bend and pop that right out of there. And there we have it. There's our first frame. And you may hear a little bit of a cracking sound, but that's fine. There we go. It may take a little bit of a pull, but there it is. And my back is nice and flat. Let's get this last one out of here. And there's my last frame. Okay, and so now I'm ready to go ahead and create my canvas, which is going to be part 2 of this. But what we're going to do now that we have these out and I have you here, I also pulled out some clear gesso. And I'm going to go ahead and prep these. Like I said, the resin will take any medium as is, but I like to go ahead and prep on my stuff. And since I have you here, I'm just going to go ahead and give this a quick once over with clear gesso, because I'm not sure what colors I want to use, but if you want to do something dark, you can always use black gesso, or if you want to use something light, you can go ahead and use, you know, white gesso if you want them to have some color to it. But for me, I'm going to use clear because I want to keep my embellishments clear for right now. And I can always go back over them. And don't forget to do the inside of your pieces. The back I'm not really worried about because of course that's going to be adhered to something. So just a quick once over of the clear gesso, and all that's doing is it's just going to help the mediums adhere a little bit better. And make sure that you take your brush and you push down into those little small grooves and details, because that's going to be really important. And like I said, don't forget to do the inside as well. And so this has been the tutorial on how to use the ice resin and use these molds. And these molds you'll have as part of your stash now, and you can always use different mediums in your molds. You can use some hot glue in your mold. You can use some modeling clay, some air dry clay in your molds. You can use ice resin in them. You can use the casting resin. The casting resin is a little bit different because they have some that dries clear and they have some that dries white as well. So that one's a nice one to use in your molds as well. But the molds are a lot of fun, and I like the fact that you can make your own embellishments with these molds, especially if you have a nice little stash. We've had a couple in either our mixed media kit or our scrapbook kit. So again, they are a nice addition to have, especially if you like to custom make your embellishments. Alright, so we are all done. I am going to let these dry, and then I'm going to pull out the rest of the items from the mixed media kit, and I'm going to get to work on filming for part 2 of this, and that's putting everything together. But again, for now, these are the molds that we just made, and this has been your tutorial on how to use the ice resin. I hope you enjoyed this, and this has been Kim for Treasure Lee Kit Club, and chipboard. So don't forget to visit the website at www.treasureleighkids.com. And I'm not sure if I mentioned, but this mixed media kit does retail for $47. That includes the $12 for US shipping. International, we have to charge actual shipping. So again, thanks for joining me. Bye.